As a symbol of South Korea's urban development, the apartment has been a staple of its cinema ever since the 1970s, often used to represent the capitalist pursuits of characters or to attach them to higher or lower social standings. But there's also a more sinister side to this cinematic setting, particularly how it is used by Korean horror cinema to depict the terrifying reality of capitalist Korea. Today, let's talk about that. A genre is defined as a system of conventions which enables an audience to determine the kind of narrative they're viewing. As a genre, Korean horror has established many conventions, often borrowing from and portraying themes of Korean culture and society. One such theme is the consequences of Korea's rapid transformation due to capitalism, as explored in many films and film elements. The apartment is a great example of these elements as it represents the core of Korean modern urban life. As a liminal space between the public and the private, the apartment exposes the fragility and horrors of Korean modern life, wherein external forces could easily permeate into private domain. This fear of permeability is best exemplified by Possessed, a 2009 film directed by Lee Yong-soo. Possessed was Lee's cinematic debut, wherein his experience as an architect helped devise a unique horror plot with the apartment at heart. The story follows a university student Hae-jin, who upon learning about the disappearance of her sister Soo-jin, uncovers dark secrets within the apartment where her family lives. The apartment in Possessed creates horror by being highly permeable. Its dozen inhabitants share a tight space, thus giving each the potential to intrude on others' life. This fear of intrusion is established by the ominous low-angle shot that introduces the apartment, along with the apartment's use of 3 heavy locks to keep out intruders. Even so, there are still many holes in it that allow horror to permeate. The window in Soo-jin's bedroom is a hole that lets menacing neighbors suddenly appear and penetrate her private space, later contributing to her death. Another hole is the veranda, wherein Hae-jin encounters a woman's body hanging dead, another horror that intrudes on the apartment. By framing the sources of horror within these holes, Lee Yong-soo effectively shows how a seemingly secure apartment is still highly vulnerable to external dangers. In Possessed, these external dangers embody the blind belief and selfishness of the residents, who exploit Soo-jin to carry out shamanistic rituals, yet leaving her to die when she is injured. The permeability of the apartment not only allows these horrors to manifest, but also to impact Hae-jin's family in tragic ways. Altogether, this offers scathing criticism of South Korea's individualism that emerges out of the capitalistic development.
The use of apartment horror to criticize Korean capitalism can also be found in Sorum, a movie directed by Yoon Jong-chan and released 8 years before Possessed. The film follows taxi driver Young-hoon as he moves in and, together with his neighbor Soon-young, discovers the tragedies behind his apartment. The apartment in Sorum is run down and cramped with low working-class inhabitants. Its corridor is a liminal space that connects individual apartments, allowing their residents to intrude on one another, and leaving little room for privacy. For instance, Soon-young's private conversations can be easily overheard by her neighbors and Young-hoon. Random eavesdropping like this leads to fatal misunderstandings and consequences, showing the horror of Korean urban life where the private domain can be so easily corrupted. To add to this, the corridor's portrayal is stuck between 2 points in time, each with its own sense of uncertainty that engenders horror. This uncertainty is heightened by the corridor's lighting, comprising hazy daylight and dim light bulbs at night. The blurred vision offered by the setting intensifies the horror, as characters never know who is watching them or what will happen next. Furthermore, through details such as Young-hoon's anxiety of staying in the apartment or the vengeful ghost of his mother possibly haunting room 504, the apartment becomes an object of horror itself. This is also seen in how the cinematography mirrors the increasing terror. The apartment at the beginning is shown through eye-level shots, basking in sunlight, while near the end it is shot from a low angle, mostly in pitch-black darkness and rain, as if materializing the ghost of Young-hoon's mother. With the apartment as an object of horror portraying the residents' fear of intrusion, Sorum exposes the dreadful reality behind the urban development myths in capitalist South Korea during the 1960s that leaves the marginalized lower classes behind. And thus, in conclusion, despite being a symbol of Korean urbanization, the apartment setting in Korean horror instead portrays the problems of Korean capitalism by creating permeable spaces that incite fears of intrusion.